welcome to Watch, Review, Repeat. This is the podcast where two best friends discuss the latest in film and television and then do it all over again the following week. My name is Colton Brown, and joining me is Andrew Meadows.
I'm here to record a podcast with you, sir.
Oh, well, thanks for sparing the time. I appreciate that. The listeners appreciate it too, I'm sure. Yeah, this is going to be a good one. After our 4-hour ish episode on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier got split into two pieces. We're hoping for a little bit more succinctness with this one. It's just the two of us hanging out. No special guests lurking in the shadows. Although, we'll see. I guess we'll see. I can't verify if there's anyone in the shadows at the current moment in time. But yeah, we got a good one on tap for everyone. And one that I think that maybe at the beginning of the year wasn't anything that we had on the cards, but lo and behold, Netflix dumps an animated film that gets ridiculous reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. We both watched it, and then here we are, ready to talk about the Mitchells.
97% as of today.
Yeah, 97% ain't nothing to scoff at, and that's not just from a hand. That's not, that's a lot of reviews that have been in there. So the film is The Mitchells versus the Machines, and that's what we're here to talk about. So stay tuned on whether we are part of the 97% or the 3%, although, statistics might help you determine where we'll land. But yeah, I'm excited to talk with you. I gotta say at the top, I'm so excited to not just say it. I am done with law school, dude. I'm done. I haven't graduated yet.
That was gonna be my fun fact.
Oh shit! All right. Rewind. Hey man, you got a fun fact? I do.
For the listeners? Colton's done with fucking law school.
What? Really? Yes, I am done. It feels good. It felt weird at first. It almost felt anticlimactic at first because it's like, I just took my last online exam after a year and a half of being online. I'm just like, I don't know. It feels like I'll wake up tomorrow and have more shit to do. And granted, I'll have to study for that little thing called the bar exam at some point. But for now, I'm enjoying some time off. I graduate on the 20th. So depending on when this episode comes out for regular listeners, that'll probably be very soon if I had to guess, or somewhere around there. And of course, depending on when you listen in the first place, that could be well in the past or whatever. So but yeah, we Anna and I both wrapped up just not too long ago. Woo! So we came up to Vermont for a few days. We were in New York for a day, and then we went up to Vermont from there. So we're up here for a few days, enjoying some nature, enjoying some quiet time, just hanging out and relaxing post law school. It's 3 years of law school stress and exams and everything that comes with the territory. So yeah, it's beautiful up here as it always is. It's a little colder than it is in Philly, and I'm sure it's much colder than it is in Florida. So it's
shut the fuck up.
I think my mom FaceTimed me and it was 90 degrees in Ocala. So
it's
in the
pollen,
50s.
Fucking pollen. Oh my god, the pollen! I can't fucking breathe.
Yeah, there are aspects of Florida that I don't miss. I'll be the first one to admit it.
What kind of law you want to dive into? Figure it out.
To be determined. I'm at this point open to offers. Criminal law is my interest. It's my main interest. It's been my main interest. But I will see how things shake out, and hopefully I'll eventually land somewhere in my feet in that realm in Philadelphia. But yeah, it's all a work in progress right now. So. Just finding my feet, and then I'll go from there. So, but yeah,
congratulations,
that's
dude.
What's going on. So,
total inspiration. It's very awesome.
Thank you. 3 years, 3 long years, and I'm glad to have them in the rearview mirror.
But it's not just 3 years. It's not just 3 years. You went through the Coast Guard for 4 years to go back and do another 3 years. I mean, it's truly is inspiring. I mean, it's where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. You know what I mean? You dove your nose in it and just fucking went back and did what you had to do it. It's fucking cool.
Yeah. No, I mean it's been a long ride. Especially when you factor in the extra 4 years. But no, seriously though, no regrets. I mean, I had a great time with my 4 years in the Coast Guard, and my subsequent 3 years in the reserves have been less involved naturally, but still good and still very beneficial. And law school was, an experience like no other. So I sometimes I'll probably, and someday I'll look on certain things fondly, and then I'll be like, wow, some of that did kind of suck, didn't it? But I learned a few new things, and it is what it is. So yeah, it's exciting. It's definitely a big milestone. So I'm excited to graduate. Maybe I'll share some sweet pictures on the Twitter and the Facebook for the pod when the big day rolls around. So yeah. Anyway, I do actually. I'm sorry, I don't want to preempt you. Was that indeed just your fun fact, or was that
indeed just
pre-fun fact? Fun facts. Okay, all right. Well, I'm very sorry to steal your thunder a little bit there. But anyway,
it is your news.
I'm sure the listeners.
I mean,
yeah, I suppose that's fair. So yeah, I do have a little bit of a fun fact concerning the Mitchells versus the Machines to keep things a bit more on topic. And I think partially this is something that came up maybe when we talked about the trailer when it dropped only a few weeks back, and there was some shenanigans with the title. This is kind of like the first fun fact that I'll throw out, and then I'll kind of build on that. This movie was originally going to be the Mitchells versus the Machines, and then Sony's like, and so they renamed it to Connected, just the single word Connected as the name of the film, and then Sony sells off the distribution rights for over $100 million, as we talked about on one of our previous episodes. And Netflix reverts the title back to The Mitchells versus the Machines, which is the preferred title of the two directors of the film. And so that's kind of how we end up where we are. And there's a fun little thing that happens within the film. This is kind of my fun fact that I found on Reddit. So credit where credit is due. When the title card pops up in the movie, it shows the Mitchells versus the Machines. And in the kind of the style, the movie is very stylized. Like drawings pop up on the screen. Just really, really interesting and different, clever uses of the animation technique throughout. And so, sometimes it looks like someone's like notebook or like sketchbook or something like that. And so for when the title card pops up, there's a lot of text that's just kind of thrown around. And there's actually off to the left a list of future movie ideas. And it has just kind of a list of like fake sequel titles. And none of these are spoilerific because the movie itself doesn't necessarily set up for like an obvious like sequel hook with like, oh my God, it's these things are coming back and the Mitchells have to fight them off. But I figured I'd run through the list of the future movie ideas that were listed on the screen because I think they're kind of funny. So in order, we have the Mitchells versus the alien invasion, versus the zombie apocalypse, versus the dinosaurs, versus ourselves, or an army of clones in parentheses, versus Santa Claus, versus Mecha Manchi, which would be good, versus income inequality, versus the patriarchy, versus Manchi's expensive ear infection, versus the Spider-Verse,
look at there.
Versus Into the Furbyverse. And that would all, according to this, all lead up to Sony Animation assemble an open season story, Rise of the Boog. So that's your little fun title sequel suggestions for the Mitchells versus the Machines. So hey, maybe one of those will happen at some point. But we got to talk about the first one first. So we'll get to that in due time. We got a lot of trailers to talk about today. In fact, as of this morning, we were supposed to record last night. Full disclosure, and it didn't happen. But long day at work. It happens. Small benefit of that is we now have a 9th trailer, which is for something that we're going to be very, very excited to talk about. Andrew is given jazz hands in a show of appreciation for what is to come. So yeah, let's run through these trailers. Let's talk about some upcoming TV shows and mostly films. I think maybe one TV show I think actually in here. So really just films mostly. But yeah, we'll start with the one thing that I completely forgot to put in our news for basically the entire past month. And so that's on me because I watched this trailer and usually I try to keep like a running tally of like things like, oh, we should talk about this, etc. This one just escaped the list. And it's not a personal slight against this film, although maybe it doesn't look very good. I don't know. We'll see. But it's just a trailer that came out. When did it actually? It was like April. It was like the very beginning of April. This trailer actually went up on YouTube, and it's for a film, a sequel called Space Jam: A New Legacy, with LeBron James subbing in for Michael Jordan. And a hell of a lot of WB properties subbing in for the Monstars,
almost
and
like
such.
the trailer almost looked like a Total Recall.
A Total Recall of many things.
That Steven Spielberg movie.
There have been many Ready Player One comparisons. Yes, indeed.
This trailer totally. It's like this. They're totally riffing on Ready Player One. It's exactly what they're doing.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, was also WB. So it's like even the same properties that they're like. Not always. I mean, there's like a fucking Game of Thrones logo that pops up at one point. So they're throwing some other things out of there.
For us, you know, it's what it felt like, anyways.
So anyway, a Space Jam: A New Legacy. I take it you're a huge fan of the first one.
Oh yeah, I watched the shit out of that first one.
I mean, the first one was legit. I will fight anyone. You know,
fly like an eagle. And then when that song in there, to the sea. I feel like that was in there at some point.
I think so. Yeah. I think you're right.
And then Michael Jordan's stretchy arm. I watched the shit out of fucking Space Jam.
Exactly.
I haven't seen it in a very, very long time. To be fair,
would it hold up to adult eyes? That's maybe a question to be resolved at a later date. But that was a childhood staple for both of us, and it was very legitimately entertaining back in the day. So, you know, are you game for a little update, revamp, new sequel with LeBron?
I'll be honest with you. This trailer made me laugh.
All right.
I don't know if it made me laugh. Like, I don't know if it was like legitimately funny, or if it tried to do things and it just didn't quite land. But it was also funny that they didn't land. I don't know. But. Oh, I'll be streaming on day one of Space Jam. I will say that. I'll be streaming it.
Yeah. So I mean, this is an HBO Max and theatrical simultaneous debut. What's the date on that? It's July 16th is when this is coming out. And I think I feel the same way. You know, I obviously have, you know, bravely trekked into theaters to watch a couple things at this point. But this is not a film to me that, you know, especially when there's that HBO Max option just sitting there. I'm like, even with A-list, I think I can probably just sit it out from the theaters and watch this thing at home. Because I do think that it could be mindlessly entertaining, and LeBron's definitely going to be bad at acting, you know. But you know, he's a basketball player. That's you know, and he's a very, very talented basketball player at that. Otherwise, he wouldn't be, you know, filling those Michael Jordan-esque shoes. I mean? Right, of course. But I'm in for, you know, kind of the wackiness, the blend of animation seems kind of fun. Don Cheadle's hanging out in like a ridiculous outfit as the villain for, I don't know, like the story is going to be absolutely stupid. But my hope again is that it'll be entertaining and just fun, and some good basketball will be in there and some funny moments, and you know, hey, it could be fun. You know,
I like Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes are fun. They're funny. They're good. You know, so
you know,
I do think I think there are aspects of that first Space Jam that probably are still funny to today. You know, and maybe it would be, you know, nostalgia kicking in and kind of, you know, helping it out or whatever. But yeah,
Looney Tunes is classic shit though. Like, I mean, it's just always good. It was classic for us. Looney Tunes was classic for us. We didn't wake up in the morning and watch Looney Tunes.
Sure,
but you know
true.
what? I did watch Looney Tunes, and I still enjoyed Looney Tunes. I mean, Looney Tunes is good stuff. I mean, any way you shake it. It's like Tom and Jerry. Now, I will not talk about the Tom and Jerry thing that they put out because I haven't watched it, but that didn't look very fucking good. But I do like the old school Tom and Jerry cartoons. Like, if that's on, like we put the TV on at work sometimes, and sometimes they put it on Boomerang or whatever, and it's on fucking. Yeah, Looney Tunes is funny shit. That's good. I like not Looney Tunes, but Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry's great. I watch the shit out of Tom and Jerry. You know? So, I don't know.
All right,
different strokes for different folks, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. So we'll see if this is a stroke that is for us on July 16th. We'll check it out. I mean, it just feels too, I don't know. You know, I'm curious about it. I'm not. My expectations are probably pretty low.
I will say that.
You know what I mean? But I'm curious enough to give it a look and kind of see what this is. And yeah, so we'll go from there. July 16th. Moving on to the next thing. Something that's a little further away, dropping in December of this year, I believe only in theaters, is Steven Spielberg's adaptation of West Side Story, which we received an official teaser for. I don't really have any knowledge of West Side Story to be quite honest with you. I've never seen any version of it, stage, film, or otherwise, or I don't know. I guess I don't know if there's anything besides those two. But this is not something that I have a lot of knowledge of. So really, my response to this is kind of going off of this minute and a half teaser that we got, and then Anna turning to me and saying it's just Romeo and Juliet. And like, oh, okay, I get it. So.
Is that what West Side Story is?
Apparently, I mean, again,
a musical in which that's part of my knowledge. Romeo and Juliet are involved in New York street gangs.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I guess if it's literally in the description somewhere, then that seems like a pretty accurate, take on it. So, anyway, what's your take on this teaser you got?
Looked like it looked like a musical. I imagine I knew that it had been done before. Like I've heard West Side Story before.
Right.
And I think it's well regarded.
Yes, it is. I mean, I think, get someone like Spielberg, slapping his name in front of it if it's not something that's already, going to be pretty.
Fun fact. The film has been deemed culturally significant by the United States Library of Congress and was selected for the National Film Registry in 1997.
Oh, well, then someone liked it. Someone somewhere liked it, apparently.
11 Academy Awards and won 10.
I did know that it won Best Picture. Yeah, it was a trivia question that popped up at some point. I didn't know it at the time, but I do now. I do now. So that's how you learn, is you play too many trivia games and you gather a bunch of knowledge that you definitely don't need. But yeah, it's a film. I think maybe multiple film versions. Plays, multiple plays, and Broadway productions and stuff. So it's been around for a long time. So it's just kind of a blind spot for me, I guess, overall. So
same. It might be a good jumping in point for us, though.
I think so. And if you dig it, then it's a good time to go back and explore. Kind of, shit, this thing won 10 Oscars. Maybe it's good or something. So, it's a good entry point. It's a good jumping off point to kind of get into it and explore other kind of adaptations of it. So I'm curious about it. Spielberg's obviously a very accomplished, very talented director. Has he done musicals before? I'm blanking if he has. So that might be new territory for him. I feel like there's probably some obvious example that is escaping my brain right now. So sorry if there's any listeners shouting at me from wherever they're listening, but I truly, in my head, cannot think if he's done a musical before. So I feel like it seems like an interesting exercise for Spielberg himself, if indeed it is his first one, and I'm not just wildly speculating, for him to kind of do this, Yeah,
that's awesome. It's cool somebody at his age is taking something challenging and new, unlike a particular Alien director, writer, producer.
Raised by Wolves creator Ridley Scott. Is that who you're referring to? Is that the man? Is that the one? Okay. Good on him. Spielberg kind of like oscillates these days between like Oscar Beatty type stuff and then like Spielberg doing weird shit. We talked about Ready Player One already, and that was just like Spielberg's doing Ready Player One. Is that is that true? That's not just a fake poster in the background of some Michael Bay movie? And I'm curious to see what he comes up with for this one. My guess, knowing absolutely, having no information that suggests this, is that Spielberg is probably a big fan of West Side Story, and it feels like maybe him, relishing an opportunity to put his stamp on it. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. I think it looks good. It looks colorful, and I'm sure the music is going to be good. So I'm excited to see what they kind of come up with. So I think December 10th of 2021. So again, a theater-only release. This is coming from 20th Century Studios, aka Disney. So, any thoughts for you, West Side Story?
I've
already said.
I enjoy myself a good musical. One in particular we're not talking about right now, but one in particular has got my interest peaked.
And the Heights.
In the Heights, that's it.
Yeah, that's coming up soon. So we'll talk about that when it comes out. Yeah.
In the Heights got my. I thoroughly enjoy a good musical. I really do.
Yeah.
They're not for everybody. I know that for a fact. But I definitely enjoy a good musical, and I really it's really a big blind spot for me. Like, I enjoyed Rent. I enjoy Phantom of the Opera. I enjoyed the shit out of fucking Hamilton. Anytime somebody says I haven't seen Hamilton, said let's drop some Hamilton in here. 9 people can be in the house, and like it's like not a musical setting to enjoy fucking Hamilton. I'm like, let's just watch some Hamilton, and we watched like 10 minutes.
Why don't we just put it on? We'll just put it. Yeah, it's all right. We'll put it on.
Just give it 10 minutes. And they're like, yeah, that's pretty good, but it's a musical, and I don't, there's other things going on. I don't know if I want to watch.
It's 3 hours long. We can do something else too, if you want. Nah, let's just fucking watch Hamilton, man.
That's
just
leave
it on.
Me. That's pretty much me in a nutshell. Socially fucking awkward. I just want to watch fucking Hamilton again.
How many times have you seen this?
I've seen it twice.
I don't know, a handful of times maybe.
I just want to watch it again, man. That's all I want to do.
Yeah. But I feel you. Musicals scratch a very particular type of itch. And Hamilton, was just the,
It's like the dog shaking leg of an itch. Like it just feels so fucking good. I'm just gonna shake my leg.
Hamilton's great. So we were hoping that between In the Heights and West Side Story that we've got 2 contenders that can kind of hit that sort of mark. I mean, that's a high water mark. So maybe that's not the best bar to set for expectations, but they both look colorful. They look interesting, and they look like fun. So
somebody clear it. So whether it's West Side Story or what's it called?
In the Heights. In
the Heights. Somebody fucking clear it. So I'm excited to get another one this year. Very excited.
Another two. This one will sneak in just before the end of the year. So we'll get 2 musicals this year. So that's exciting. So yeah, West Side Story coming in December, and coming from Disney and Pixar on June 18th, straight to Disney Plus without any premiere access nonsense attached to it is a little film called Luca. Disney and Pixar have made their way to the Italian Riviera, and they're bringing us a little coming-age story about fish people. We've talked about this before. I think we liked what we saw before. We got a full official trailer for it, giving us a little bit more of the flavor of the story. And what do you have on Disney and Pixar's Luca?
I think it's really cool. Seems to me like Disney and Pixar are like taking this like globe-trotting idea to incorporate different nationalities and shit into their animation.
different cultures, geographies, etc. Yeah. I feel
seems like a really cool initiative, which they've probably been doing it for a long time. But I'm going to call it an initiative because it seems very prevalent right now. And hats off to them. I know I watched an Italian-based movie on a similar thing, so I think that Italians must have a cultural tie to fish people. I don't know if that's accurate or not. But I watched another movie based in Italy on fish people. So I don't know if that's a thing or not, but it might be a thing. I don't know. Just an observance on my behalf.
Okay. That I don't know. Not Italian or my cultural expert.
I think it was called Mermaid. It was like super bizarre and fucking weird.
Okay.
It wasn't particularly great, but I mean it was.
Yeah, I think we talked about it a while back.
And same thing with the people that directed Synchronic. They directed a movie based in Italy.
Okay.
And it was kind of like a similar thing. So I don't know. There's a couple different movies that come to mind that were based in Italy that had fish people in them. I don't know. But This movie will make me cry.
You're just ready for it.
I'm just ready for it. I know it. You know, there was like a little sequence there. There was like a line, like there's so many things that you think you can't do, but it's because you haven't been given a chance. I'm like, oh God, I feel it.
It's Coco round 2 is what you're saying.
Coco round 2. But I really enjoy like I said, I really enjoy the different cultures and I don't know. I fucking like Pixar and Disney, dude. I really like them.
They just happen to know what they're doing, and we are lucky for it, really. Yeah, I mean, I have faith in Pixar to deliver a heartwarming and an emotionally wrenching story that may elicit a tear or two, or maybe even a few. But the thing that stands out for this to me is just the beautiful, beautiful animation that we're seeing from this trailer.
The water.
The water, the colors, the style of it. Just, we were talking about a film on this episode that, oh my God, the animation is ridiculous. And this is, Mitchell's versus Machines is a very, very different art style than what Luca is going for. And they're both equally beautiful. And just kind of what they're trying to achieve. So that's the thing that's going to stand out for me is just, the same way that Soul and really any recent Pixar effort has, like, God damn it, man. And the way that the sand technology stands out in How to Train Your Dragon. Sand. We always got to bring it up anytime we talk about animation technologies.
The fucking sand.
The stuff that computers can bring to life these days is really, truly awe-inspiring. And this to me, combined, I think, maybe with that story that we're going to get with the Italian culture, just feels, I don't know. I have a really, really good feeling about Luca. I think it's really going to be great. 97% great. We'll have to wait and see. But hey, that not many films clear that bar. So
and with the state of animation and the way it is, it's an interesting thing, right? Because like you want to bring, I don't know how to say what I'm fixing to say, but like sand. Right? Like the sand and How to Train Your Dragon, we always bring it up, is an incredibly lifelike sand. Or what we perceive to think. Like, what do they go for when they animate these things? Because we're reaching a point in technology where if they wanted to replicate fucking people, they probably could replicate people if they spent enough effort in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what do you go for when you do that stuff? Do you go for, I want people to perceive the most beautiful thing, that what they think about water or what they think about sand, and they just embellish on what people perceive those things to be? Because like if you go see regular sand, I'm going to argue that, well, How to Train Your Dragon had more beautiful sand than the sand over here on this beach. You know what I'm saying? Like what do you go for? Like how do they work that?
I don't know.
Is what I'm saying making any sense right now?
Yeah, I mean,
like, what's their angle? What's their fucking angle? Like, if you want real sand, just fucking take a video of sand because it fucking works.
It's a question of it's the.
Do I want sand?
Well, I mean, we've seen we know that the computers can do lifelike shit because we've seen it in the Jungle Book and the Lion King. So it's like, sometimes it's just I think it's a question of, can we pull this off and make people think it's fucking real? And like it almost just feels like a self-challenge. And in certain films,
is it better not to have something that looks real, but to have something that people perceive is beautiful and what they know what it's supposed to be, but it's more beautiful than the real thing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like a hyper stylized or hyper realized version of something that just something about it is just very aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like a lot of time we see that in terms of characters, in terms of people. Like a lot of people generally don't look lifelike, whereas maybe your sand, maybe your water is like, oh shit, that looks like some real water. That's some real sand. But like this person looks absolutely ridiculous, but still fun and kind of cool and how they're designed, and just somehow it still just fits the vibe and feels right even amidst the real sand and water. I don't know. It's a weird kind of balance that they have to strike, or I don't know. Whoever is in charge of art design on really any of these fucking latest animation movies, just They got it. They got it going. And let's just say,
what are you trying to do, dude?
They earned their salaries for sure. So I think Luca is definitely going to be a notch in the belt for all the talented artists that worked on it over at Pixar. So I'm really looking forward to it. Heading straight to Disney Plus, which this is something I would have seen in theaters, if it was going to be there. But hey, I'm not going to complain. I'll watch it for free on my TV at home. Don't get me wrong. So June 18th is when we'll be able to check it out. So that's great that it's just about a month away. So, so the next couple of things we can probably run through pretty quickly, because when I put them in, I thought they were longer, and then I went back and watched it. I'm like, oh, there's not a whole lot, not a whole lot to chew on here. Next one is another movie. Coming to Amazon Prime. This is yet another, actually similar to The Mitchells versus the Machines, that was originally intended to be a 2020 theatrical release. Well, what do you know? COVID-19 ruins theaters and ruins everyone's lives. And so I think maybe Paramount was the one that sold this one off to Amazon. So Amazon has the rights for this film. So The Tomorrow War is coming to Amazon Prime now on July 2nd of this year. So a little bit later than its original premiere date that was expected, I think, late 2020. All we really got here is like 30 seconds of like kind of footage of Chris Pratt looking heroic or whatever. Is really all I can say about it. I really did think there was going to be something more substantial when I pulled this up. I don't. What say you? Is there anything else that you want to offer about this?
Live, Die, Repeat.
I got some vibes. I don't think it is technically, but I did get some vibes for sure, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad comparison point to have. No Tom Cruise though.
Other than that, that's all I got. I mean, yeah, I got Chris Pratt looking heroic.
You trade out Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt for Chris Pratt and Yvonne Strahovski, and admittedly, I think it's a little bit of a downgrade if you look at it that way. But hey, what are you going to do? It does have J.K. Simmons in it, so you trade in Bill Paxton, rest in peace, for J.K. Simmons, and maybe that's what you're looking at for that equation. But I think the premise really sounds interesting for this. I don't know if it's going to translate into a good movie. I have nothing to gauge off of from this 30 seconds of footage, again, of Chris Pratt looking mostly heroic. But time travelers come from 2051, delivering an urgent message saying that, in the future, we're losing a global war against aliens. So, that's pretty Edge of Tomorrow-esque. And so they have to recruit soldiers and civilians from the present to head to the future and fight.
That sounds pretty cool.
It sounds like a very neat, very cool premise. It
sounds like my kind of shit all day long. I'll probably watch that.
It really does. Yeah, it sounds very cool. It feels like it has a lot of potential. Directed by Chris McKay, who I think has mostly done animation stuff. Worked on the Lego Movie films, I think, and worked on the Lego Batman movie. So I don't know. I mean, seems like quite the big step up for kind of the highbrow sci-fi concept that it's apparently trying for, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm in as well. Based on the premise, maybe we can revisit it with a fuller trailer and think, oh, okay, they might pull this thing off, or we can be like, okay, there's a reason they just gave us 30 seconds of nothing as the first look, because they knew they had a piece of shit on their hands, or Paramount or whoever had a piece of shit on their hands, and like you could buy this for like $50 million if you want. So. I don't know. I guess stay tuned is kind of my official word on The Tomorrow War. I'm excited to see where it goes, and this is this is July, so there's really not a whole lot of time to wait for in this one. But yeah, it sounds interesting. Looking forward to seeing more on it, I think. So yeah, that's what I got on that.
Tell you what, I'm excited for.
What are you excited for?
I'm excited for fucking Heels.
You're excited for Heels. All right. I wasn't sure where you're going to land on this.
I landed wholeheartedly fucking on my back, suplex style, looking for some wrestling movie goodness.
Yeah, wrestling TV show goodness for this one. This is the one TV show in the bunch. This is a Starz television show coming August 15th. It's centered around some wrestling, that's for sure. Starring Stephen Amell. This is what he's up to after his tenure on Arrow ended. After the show ended. And
his one guest star appearance in WWE or whatever it was.
He's well, and that's what's fun about this is Stephen Amell has very publicly been a huge wrestling fan. And so this feels like a great project for him to go into, more of a prestige network. Certainly a big step up in terms of production values from the CW, when he's tackling a wrestling, a show centered around wrestling, which is perfectly within his interests. So, So you're in. Tell me why you're in.
I'm in for a couple of reasons. One, because I know the dude's super interested in wrestling. I think he's a good actor. I think he's an okay actor. I'll say he's an okay actor.
I think he's got chops, and sometimes he's in projects that require them, and sometimes he's in Arrow.
That's it. And
or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too. Whatever.
Yeah, I never saw that, but I did see Arrow. I saw a fair bit of Arrow, and
he had moments in that where he was good.
Yeah, I like him as an actor. I don't have anything with him as an actor, but I think he's an incredibly charismatic person in general. Right, like he did that bit where he was on Ninja Warrior.
Right,
and then he went and did the wrestling bit, and then he's got the winery. I think he's a fucking cool dude. Like, I really think he's an authentically awesome guy. And so that carries me forward into the show. And I know that they had the show on Netflix. I never got into it. I know you watched it.
Glow. Yeah.
Glow. Never watched any Glow. I don't know what it is. I just never watched it. But this seems to have like a little bit of grittiness to it. It's based in like southern Georgia, it seems like, and it seems to take like, I don't know, it just seems like a relatable film about a really bizarre thing. It's not really bizarre, I guess, because a lot of people are interested in wrestling, but
I don't know. It's a very specific type of thing, though. Like
it's very specific.
I feel like you either love wrestling or you hate wrestling. I mean, yes, there are some. There's a little bit of in between, but people are very polarized. I feel like in their takes on wrestling.
That's right.
There's a little room for the in between, but
I enjoy wrestling. I haven't watched it in a very long time, but I like the concept of it, and I enjoy the concept and thinking about it. I just never watch it, but the show seems really cool. Like, it seems like something that's really interesting. The main actor that's into it is really into wrestling. And he's a cool actor. He's in shape and he's like ready to like kick some ass, and it seems like they've pitched the story in such a way based on the trailer that keeps it dramatically relevant and keeps it cool and keeps it interesting, and it seems like a really it just seems topical and relevant and cool. It just seems like a really cool fucking show. So I'm all in.
All right. Well, Andrew's all in, and I'll tell you what. I don't have stars, but I'm all in anyway. I'll figure out a way.
I can share my Apple shit with you. I think I got stars. Stars was Showtime or Stars the platform for American Gods?
I think that was Stars.
Yeah. So I still have Stars. I've been just like fucking paying for it, I guess. So I haven't been watching any American Gods, but yeah, we can family share some shit so you can watch your.
All right.
Boy.
Well, that sounds.
You still getting?
Sounds good.
You still getting his wine?
I am too poor. I'm too broke. Law school took a little bit of a toll on my financials. So I have not been receiving any wine from Knocking Point Wines, from Stephen ML. But my parents have been getting it regularly. So whenever I see them, I've been able to enjoy a bottle here and there. So I co-sign what you said earlier. I'm a big fan of Stephen Amell. He does just seem like a cool dude, and I think Arrow had its moments of goodness, and it had its moments of badness as well. But Stephen Amell always seemed like a I don't know. He was. I always enjoyed him in the show, and I think that his other ventures with wrestling and winemaking just make him seem very relatable and down to earth, and someone that's very good to fans.
I think the coolest thing about him is he's leveraged his platform so well. You know what I mean? Like, CW doesn't put you on like the fucking like star stage or anything, but he's leveraged his platform in such a way to where he stays relevant and he stays cool and everything else. It just seems like the way he presents himself and the things he does is really fucking cool. I think it's a good work of PR and everything else. I think he's really working it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and so I really appreciate, I appreciate what he's doing here, and I think that it looks like it has the potential to be a good series. And it's cool because I'm a fan of him, and because it seems like he's doing something that feels personal, and it feels like he's going to be really invested in, and I think that's going to make for a really compelling kind of final product. So I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what comes of this. Again, I guess as someone that's not a big fan of wrestling, in a way, like I get the appeal of it, but I have no interest in it at the same time. But I enjoyed Glow. It's and I enjoy. I enjoy shows.
The Wrestler.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
was a good movie.
Yeah, true. I can enjoy things about things that I don't have any personal interest in.
Yeah,
I'm not so specifically cabined that I have to watch things that exclusively cater to things that I'm already interested in. Like, I can watch a show about wrestling and be like, hey, this is fun. I like it, So I think that's kind of what I'm hoping for with this one. So yeah, again, series premieres August 15th over on Stars. Stephen Amell and Alexander Ludwig star as the two brothers in it, I believe. So yeah. We'll stay tuned. I bet we'll get a fuller trailer for this at some point. Maybe we can revisit it when that comes along and see if that changes our opinion in any meaningful way. But yeah, that's what I got on that front. Let's keep going. We have something from Marvel Studios that is not quite a trailer, not quite an announcement. It's kind of somewhere in between. It's a bit of both, maybe.
Fucking sizzle reel is what that
is. A sizzle reel. That's what it. They didn't put it in the name of the video, but it is absolutely a sizzle reel.
That shit is sizzling.
Marvel Studios is celebrating the movies with some sizzle reels. Just one sizzle reel, I guess, but. Lots of good stuff in this one to unpack. So, they tug on the heartstrings with a bit of a monologue from the dear Stan Lee, who we lost some time ago. But his words of wisdom seem applicable to the footage that they managed to curate from the many Marvel Studios films that have been released so far. So. We heard some brilliance from the man himself, Excelsior. We get, a little opening nights footage from Endgame with the portals and Black Panther entering the portal and just the hype and Avengers Assemble, Cap holding the Mjolnir, just reliving the glory. And then halfway through this thing, Marvel says, all right, we'll give you some good shit too. Not that wasn't good shit, but we'll give you some new good shit for you to chew on. So yeah. So unpacking really like the kind of last minute of this, we got a lot to think about. So a little bit more Black Widow. We don't really need to harp on that too much. It's still coming in July. Looking forward to it, obviously. Ready for it to be out, as we talked about, I think, on the non-spoilers Falcon episode. Just we're ready. We're ready at this point. A little bit more Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, just a little bit more, not a whole lot going on there, but we did get our first ever look at some footage from Marvel's Eternals, which will be coming in November. So why don't we pause there? What do you think about what you saw from the Eternals? Maybe the 10-15 seconds of stuff that we saw.
So we got Angelina Jolie, rancher and sword wielding badass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we'll that's a thing that's happening. You also have a super quick dude at some point, right after the fucking title card comes up.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is. I don't know anything about the Eternals.
Yeah, I mean, fair. I would wager a guess that most people do not, and I don't have a whole lot of knowledge myself either, which is why it feels like this is just kind of weird, bonkers out there, Guardians-esque territory for Marvel Studios to explore. And
needless to say, we all need a Wikipedia dive on the Eternals.
Well, maybe we'll do a fuller one whenever we do get a proper trailer for it. But Nomadland's Chloe Zhao bringing us this shit. I think we can already see the cinematography is gonna bring it. Even just from those little snippets that we saw. So it's exciting. Great cast.
Hold on a second now. Nomadland director is directing
Eternals.
The Eternals?
Yeah.
Oh boy. I just literally If I could show you my arms, if my arms could pop up
got
good
some
on the
goosebumps
fucking,
raising.
On the Logicam webcam here, I have goosebumps. It's going to be that.
It's going to be a ride.
I did not know that. I definitely did not know that, or I didn't put the pieces together. But I am very excited about this now. Man, goodness, you couldn't have somebody better directing. But what little bit I got from it, I was already intrigued about it, and now that I know who's behind the camera, I'm super excited.
Yeah, I have a feeling we'll have something special on our hands. So we look for. I mean, yeah, Eternals we're looking forward to.
And before we go forward, I just want to say, there's a lot of stuff people say about Marvel, like, oh, we don't need more superhero movies, blah 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 blah. Whatever your feelings are about Marvel, it doesn't matter. They know how to sell their shit. Like, they know how to put together a sizzle reel.
This was sizzling, indeed.
Right? Like, I mean, it was, what a well...
It made you feel. It made you feel, man.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it's just a well put together piece of advertisement is what that is. I mean, that's incredible. That's totally fucking awesome. What we got is excellent, despite whatever anybody's feelings are. I mean, it's just a good piece of advertisement. It's really good.
Yeah, I totally agree. So Eternals, November 5th. So I think we'll get a trailer. I mean, half a year away, sure. So it's a decent chunk of time, but I think we'll get a trailer for this. I wouldn't be surprised maybe with Black Widow even if they start getting the marketing machine really going for it. So, yeah, and then not content with just bringing us some new footage and some hype and emotion, they dropped in, reminders of premiere dates for other films: Spider-Man: No Way Home coming in December, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness next March, Thor: Love and Thunder in May, and then some title announcements. The first of which is for the Black Panther sequel, and
Wakanda Forever.
Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is coming in July of 2022, and fucking hell if that doesn't just feel like the most perfect title you could come up with for a Black Panther sequel under the circumstances in which it's being made, without the great Chadwick Boseman to anchor it. So
what do they do with that, dude?
I don't know. Ryan Coogler is on board. Kevin Feige, I'm sure, is working hand in hand and figuring out like what's the best approach to do with this movie, but. The Black Panther part of the logo is very small. The Wakanda Forever is really dominating it. And so I think it's going to have to be a really, really impressive ensemble piece, even more so than the first one was. So I don't know. That is not a job I would want, is trying to figure out what to do there. But they have my faith to kind of figure out what it's looking like. And I think that the title is a good sign of, okay, they can make this work under awful circumstances. They can find some way to make this work for audiences. So I am excited to see what they cook up with what they're doing with it. So you digging the title?
Digging the title, 100%.
Okay, all right. So there's that, and then there's also another film that received a new title coming November of next year, and that is Captain Marvel 2, which is now known as The Marvels.
What's that all about?
So this is because Captain Marvel will not be the only superhero hanging out. She'll be joined by Miss Marvel, who's getting her own Disney Plus show, expected to debut, I think maybe the end of this year, maybe early next year if it's not ready in time. And she'll also be joined by Monica Rambeau, who got some powers in WandaVision, as we saw. And she was a Captain Marvel in the comics at one point. She's also been known as Photon, as Spectrum. So we'll see what kind of superhero name they cook up for her, but we know that she's going to be in the film. So it's, 3 pseudo Captain Marvels, or actual Captain Marvels, I guess, hanging out, sharing the screen together. So I think it's, clearly some there's a lot going on there. So I'm excited to see what they do with that. What else we got? Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, February of 2023. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, May of 2023. And then the big one, which has no date. Maybe it'll be 2023, maybe it'll be later, but Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four. So it was like not a legitimate announcement, but it was like the logo treatment of Phase 4. Is that what that was? And that's fucking cool. Oh, that one gave me goosebumps, dude, when they came out with that logo treatment for like 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know, Fantastic Four to end Phase 4 would certainly be fitting, so maybe that's what they're doing.
And are we thinking like a little bit of like after post-credit sequences alluding to the Fantastic Four each time? Like we got a little bit of shit in the WandaVision. You know, talking about like the guy that can figure this shit out and blah 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 blah. Yeah, we never got anybody. You know.
Yeah, we just got random woman who had a rover that they could drive into the thing.
Yeah, what are they doing? I don't know.
I don't know. That's actually kind of a fun idea. I've never really thought about that. It reminds me of you remember Marvel Legends, the classic action figures that I had at one point in my life.
You get a little bit of
the way. Sometimes what they did with those is, you know, they'd have like Series 10 of Marvel Legends, and in each one you would get the build a figure. So you'd get a 12-inch Galactus that you would build and stuff like that.
Galactus.
Do that with the post-credit sequences, just like throw in a little something in there and then put them together. And what do you build? You build a Fantastic Four movie. I don't know. That would be kind of fun. I don't know that they'll do that, but it is kind of a fun idea that I've never really considered. So I don't know. Anyway. Those are the many things that we have to look forward to with Marvel in the future. So there's a lot. Marvel's going to be busy for a while, and this was just the film side of the house. So on top of the many TV shows that they're currently working on / have in development, we are going to be doing just fine on the Marvel Studios front. So I'm greatly greatly looking forward to all of those. So up next we have. The final trailer, the final trailer for A Quiet Place Part 2, coming to theaters May 28th. You know, one that we've now talked about for over a year as a result of its very, very long delay, very, very long COVID-induced delay, much like Black Widow. Anything new? Any new thoughts on this one for you? Is it going to inspire you to walk into theaters May 28th to check it out by any chance?
Yeah, no, it looks real good. I'm excited about it. It looks like a movie I could go to the movie theaters and watch.
All right. Well, they're offering it in Dolby and IMAX, you know, so a few different premium formats to tempt you there. You know, I think the first one was great. If nothing else, this gives me a reason to revisit the first one and rewatch it because I haven't seen it since theaters. I don't know. I'm excited. You know, one thing that is kind of funny as I was watching this, because usually what I do is I put the trailers in the script, and then I go back and kind of rewatch them in the order right before we record. And so I watched this, and I'm like, oh, look, it's Mr. Fantastic. Oh, look, it's the Invisible Woman. And not actually, you know, they haven't cast anyone for the Fantastic Four, but just after seeing that Fantastic Four logo, it really highlighted how much I want John Krasinski and Emily Blunt to play those two characters.
Oh, that'd be ridiculous, dude.
And they've been fan cast to death at this point. And you know, sometimes fan casting works out. Christian Bale was fan cast to death as Batman, and he was great. So I'm just saying it works sometimes. So, yeah, I mean, yes, more specifically to this film, I think it looks great. I'm excited to see where they go with it. It's a pre-ish sequel to the first one, with a little bit before, you know, seeing kind of how the world got fucked up and then exploring the aftermath of the events of the first film. I'm excited. I think it looks good. You know, you got some kind of pull quotes in there that make it feel good. And they're like, yeah, we watched this like a year and a half ago and it was good then. So hopefully it's still good now. And just, you know, it just feels like it's time. Like we just want it at this point. So yeah, less than a month away, May 28th. So tail end of the month, of course, but yeah, I'm excited about it. So I think I will plan to step foot in theaters for it myself. So maybe it's something that if you're going to do that too, we can talk about towards the end of the month. That might be fun. So any other thoughts from you?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Short and sweet for that one. Well, I don't know if the next one's going to be short and sweet. We might have a few things to say about Venom, Let There Be Carnage, which we received our first official trailer for. I'm gonna bite my tongue, my big long tongue that's drooping out of my mouth and throwing spit and shit everywhere because I'm a symbiote or a symbiote, as the first one would like to call it. What do you got for the listeners on Venom?
This looks like dog shit, right? Like I'm not by myself on this. This looks real bad, right?
It looks so bad. I Anna and I watched it. Yesterday, today. I can't even remember. The days blend together, but I was kind of mortified. I'm like, I'm actually embarrassed to be watching this right now because of how fucking terrible this looks.
It looks real bad, right? Like it's not just me. I feel good seeing your reaction.
I've made a few policies on this podcast once or twice. If you don't like Paul Rudd, then I don't like you, and I think I applied a similar principle for Tessa Thompson. I'm going to go ahead and put another rule down, and if I lose a few listeners, maybe I lose a lot. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm just going to say that if you liked the first Venom movie, then I don't trust your opinion in film. I just don't. I truly do not. And I'm not saying that you're wrong and it's I hate you for having that opinion. I'm just saying I don't trust anything you're going to say. And honestly, that probably extends outside of the pool of your film opinions. Like, I just don't trust you. You're not a trustworthy person in my eyes because you thought that movie was watchable. This looks...
It looks real bad.
It looks real bad. Yes, absolutely. And it almost looks worse in a different sort of way. Like the first one looked like the most generic fucking movie of all time. And it kind of was, and it was like a bad version of that. This just feels like it's doubling down and trying to be, as Anna said, it looks like it's trying to be a little Deadpoolish in some ways. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Like just the stuff with the symbiote talking, all of it fell flat.
Making fucking pancakes and waffles and talking to the person when he walks into a fucking gas station. He's got a tentacle hanging out of his back, and they're like, "Hey, Venom!" Like, who the fuck thinks that's normal? Like, people, if I went into work and somebody I would never greet somebody's symbiote. They're fucking coming out of their back. I would never do that.
Yeah,
who does that? That's fucking stupid.
This just looks awful. I mean, I can't think of one thing in this that, I thought that maybe...
when it gets to Carnage, when it gets to fucking Carnage, it's real bad.
It's real bad. And that's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing that I thought, might be like, all right, Venom's going to be real dumb and like whatever. But like, hey, Carnage could be fucking cool, right? Carnage could be fucking cool. I'm like, oh no, they fucked up Carnage too. Oh no. Like Woody Harrelson is just absolutely going to be hamming it up. He doesn't have the wig. He's got a bad haircut, but it's not the haircut that he had, which that's good. They slightly corrected that. But Carnage, the design is just awful CG. It doesn't really look like it's Red Venom. They just turned him into Red Venom. It looks
like straight out of fucking like Spider-Man 3 or something like that. You know what I mean?
It looks the CGI. I'm sure it's unfinished, but it looks fucking terrible.
The whole pose, like they did the drop card and then they got Venom, like above the window, or that Carnage above the fucking window. With the spikes in his whatever the fuck he's got going on. Like, oh, it's like a real cool thing, and then it like drops to the next scene or drops to the next title card. It's like, it's just so fucking lame. It's so stupid.
It really is. It looks painfully unfunny. It doesn't look visually inspiring. Tom Hardy has maybe dropped a little bit of the Eddie Brockness of his voice. Woody Harrelson's going to take it up to 12 because 11's not enough. And the CGI is going to be dog shit as it was for the first one. Show me where there is something in this trailer that is appealing. Point it to me. Give me a timestamp. Like, I got nothing. I'm coming up empty, like finding anything redeeming about this. Hey, it's just a trailer. All right, it's just a trailer. Maybe we'll give the movie, the
listener corner. Give us some input
based on the first one, and based on the fact that this looks just as bad as the first one, if not worse. I'm gonna confidently say this is gonna be absolute fucking trash, and so maybe we'll still cover it because we got to sometimes expose ourselves to those sort of things so that we can figure out what the worst movie of the what the worst movie of the year is going to be when we talk about it at the end of the year. But I'm just predicting this will be a strong contender. And so September 24th, maybe we will let there be carnage. And I can't say I'm looking forward to it. I really can't. I'm just dreading it. I'm just dreading it at this point.
It looks real bad.
It looks awful. I can't even find one thing in it that I thought, all right, okay. Just not one thing. Just not one thing. But point it out to me. I look forward to anyone pulling off that challenge. Not going to happen. Last but not least, we end the one virtue, again, of waiting to record. Jazz Hands come back out for the record. Was that we can end not on Let There Be Carnage, but on a film that Andrew particularly has been looking forward to for a very, very, very long time.
Years. It feels like fucking years.
It probably has been literally years since that teaser came out. But July 30th will herald the arrival of what film?
The Green Knight. We finally get the fucking Green Knight. Oh, man. And I'll tell you something, I have the board game for the fucking Green Knight.
We'll play it
the role-playing game. I couldn't tell you how this will be the first movie that I step into theaters for. I will tell you that. I think this will be the first one. Are there any movies that require me to go see the movies in theaters beforehand?
We just talked about A Quiet Place, but hey, we can figure it out. Is that a movie theater only kind of deal? It is, unfortunately.
All right, well, this might be the second movie that I'll go see in movie theaters. Man.
But the important part is you will be going to movie theaters for it.
I will be going to movie theaters. I need to re-up on my AMC thing. But, so, I didn't know a lot about the Green Knight. I did read a synopsis of the poem or whatever he's from, on Wikipedia. I would enjoy reading the real thing. But this looks like an expansion on that. So like in the original poem, he doesn't actually, the author does not expand on the adventures that he goes on the way to
kind of the in-between part. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
This looks like an expansion on that in a big way. There's like these big giants or something that are walking around.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it looks fucking crazy. But it looks like an experience that only A24 would deliver, which I'm really intrigued on, because I think I've only seen like A24 horror films, and I'm excited to see the artistic direction that they take on something like this, like a hardcore period piece. And it looks incredibly well acted. It looks super well shot. It looks super intriguing, and it's right up my fucking alley. Like I can't think of anything else that's quite like this. And I was actually thinking to myself after I watched it and after I read a little synopsis about the story and stuff, like it'd be really cool if they took, like, A24 just started making, there's a word for it, for King Arthur tales, like Arthurian or something like that.
Yeah.
Like they just,
I don't know if another word, but I know what we're talking about.
Yeah, they just start taking the stories of King Arthur and making fucking King Arthur shit. That'd be fucking cool. I would take it. I would eat it all up, man.
Yeah.
Depending on how this is, of course. But this looks really fucking good.
Based on what this trailer promises, I think we can say that it looks fucking awesome.
Real fucking excited.
And I think, honestly, I think we got a lot more of like what to expect with the film from this trailer than we did with the teaser. Like the teaser was incredibly stylish, was just enough to be like, oh my God, get this in me right now. I want it. This gives you a little bit more of it, but it almost made me more excited for it. Even though I got more than I, had otherwise, I'm just like, oh man, like, the cinematography, just all of it's, oh God, it just seems so fucking cool. Like it just
seems so
cool.
Exudes
cool in a way that films just do not really do.
It's super artistic, it's
an artistic
thing.
Type of cool. Yeah. I don't know. It feels so unique and so in a way kind of out there. I mean, the giant things walking around and the Green Knight himself. I don't know, man. It all seems totally insane and totally bonkers, but yes, that is what A24 kind of does, and that's what they're known for. But this just I guess combined with that Arthurian, style of story, just, I don't know. I'm struggling with words. I don't know. It just seems very, very cool. So I'm super, super pumped to see this film in July. So I will also be stepping foot into theaters to watch this. Yeah, you bet your bottom dollar about that.
Yeah, Arthurian romance. Huh. The Matter of Britain is the body of medieval literature and legendary material associated with Great Britain and Brittany, and the legendary kings of heroes associated with it, particularly King Arthur. Arthurian romance.
Nice.
It's fucking cool. And he's got a bunch of myths and shit. You got fucking... not Gandalf, god damn it.
Hagrid, I believe.
No, definitely not Hagrid. Fucking, what's his name? I can't think of his name. Oh, shit. Starts with an M. I know it starts with an M. I think it starts with an M.
Merlin?
Merlin. That's his fucking name. Merlin. Yes. That's some cool shit. Give me more of that.
Dumbledore. Picard? Yeah. No, I agree. A24 King Arthur series. Fuck it, man. Just
dive in.
Do weird out there shit and give us some cool fucking. Oh god, it looks so cool. I'm very, very excited. I will play that damn game with you. This trailer gave me the inspiration to say let's fucking do it. Let's play that role playing game that you've been sitting on for probably a year now. So
never played it once.
Not once. Just been waiting. Just waiting patiently.
Sitting in the closet. That's it.
Collecting dust, but no longer.
Bonus episode.
That would be fun. That would be very fun. I think we can do that. I think we can definitely set some time aside from that. I would be down. And the time is now. You know, we had a lost year, but hey, the Green Knight's finally coming out. The time is appropriate for it. So here we are. Any other thoughts for the Green Knight?
No, that's it. That's all I got.
We're looking forward to it. You know, July 30th. We'll be there. Rest assured, we'll be there. And that does it. That does it for the trailers, and that does it for the news. And that brings us to talking about The Mitchells versus the Machines, a Netflix film that you can stream on your local Netflix app if you so choose. Written and directed by Mike Rianda and Jeff Rowe, starring a lot of incredible voice talents: Abby Jacobson, Danny McBride, Maya Rudolph, Mike Rianda, Eric Andre, Olivia Colman, Fred Armisen, Beck Bennett, John Legend, Chrissy Teigen, Blake Griffin, Conan O'Brien, and my personal favorite, Doug the Pug. It's about a quirky, dysfunctional family's road trip that is upended when they find themselves in the middle of the robot apocalypse and suddenly become humanity's unlikeliest last hope. So 97% is quite a large number, you know, especially when you're figuring that it's out of 100. So are you with the majority, or are you in that small 3%? What did you think about The Mitchells versus the Machines?
So I entered this movie. Enter me. Not enter me. That sounds weird. I'm sitting there on the couch, and I'm looking for something to watch. I'm like, hey, I think Colton and I are going to talk about this show. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it on, and I'm going to watch it. And Sarah goes to the bedroom. She goes, I have no interest in watching an animated movie. I'm like, okay, well, you like fucking Frozen. Like, what's wrong with this? She goes, I'm just not interested in watching it. I said, okay, whatever. I'm gonna sit out here and watch it. You let me know when you're done watching the Instagrams, and I will be in the bedroom, and I'll finish it up in the bedroom whenever you get done. So I sit out there, and I don't know what I'm drinking. I can't remember what I'm drinking, but I'm drinking a little bit. And man, from the fucking get-go, somebody starts cutting onions in my fucking kitchen. I smell the onions. And from the get-go, it hits me hard. This movie hits me hard. Just in the feels, like it's super identifiable. Like I can... There's a whole thing about like growing up and not identifying with your parents, but still feeling close to your parents. And there's that angle, right? Like where your parents fight to identify with you, and they're trying, but they're not quite hitting the mark, and that give and take relationship between you and your parents when you're growing up, and it hit hard. Like, it was super, super well done. The animation was outstanding. The score was cool. But I think the biggest thing was really the animation and the story. Like, the characters were super well realized. The animation was spectacular. Like, I mean, it was, I mean, you could definitely tell that the people that did Into the Spider-Verse were attached to this. Like, it was just super stylish. But it remained like the way that it was stylish was a part of the story, you know? Like, I mean, it was just all attached really well. Like, I mean, it was super, super well put together. To see this on fucking Netflix was outstanding. Like, there's every so often something will come through Netflix and you're just blown away by it. Like, I mean, they produce so much shit. Things can get pushed to the side and everything else, but this is something super spectacular for Sony. I guess it was Sony to sell this off to Netflix.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Sony sold it off. Yeah, $110 million, I believe, was the deal.
For Sony to sell this off to Netflix is like a tremendous get. Like, I mean, any other couple of years, this would have been like fucking Lego Story or Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse or something like that. Like, I mean, it's This is a movie that does not come through Netflix very often. Like, it's a total get for Netflix. Spectacular movie, spectacular characters. Animation was absolutely astounding. It was a beautiful movie to watch. I did not get to watch the entirety of the movie in a good sound system. Like, I had to watch more than half of the movie on bedroom TV speakers.
I gotcha.
I can't speak to that. It feels kind of like a letdown, but I did get to experience it in my bed, which is pretty nice. Kind of like that.
It's comfy, right?
Yeah, it's comfy. I cried for a lot of, like, I think for the majority of this movie, I had tears in my eyes for the majority of the movie. Like, I don't know if that was alcohol speaking or if I just resonated super well with everything that was going on. But it was a really touching film, real family oriented film. And I think it was spectacularly well done. That was excellent. On every fucking note. Super, super good movie. Super well done. A lot of care. Oh, man. And the fucking credits. Don't even get me started on the credits. I fucking sloppy like fucking grasp for air when I saw the fucking credits. Oh my God, the credits. And you don't ever hear anybody say anything about the fucking credits, but this was just, it was such a work of love, and it was just so well done. Like, what a really cool angle they took with the storytelling. Like, the whole movie is like a coming to age story, and like departing with like what people have imposed on you and what you want to try to do, and how you can just exceeding expectations. And oh man, it was just super touching. It was a really good fucking movie. Really good. I really love this fucking movie. It was so good. I don't know how else to fucking say it, dude. I'll give it to you, because I'll just sit here and say it's a good movie over and over again in different ways.
Well, if you give it to me, then I'll just say it's a good movie, but I'll say it in a different way, so maybe it'll seem fresh. Because I fully agree with everything you said. I will happily join the 97% of the critics that gave it a positive score on the Rotten Tomatoes, because this is a fucking brilliant film. I really, really enjoyed it, and hey, you walk into a film that's reviewing as well as it is, you expect some good shit, but maybe even set your expectations too high. You're like, oh, this must be really good. I don't know, this hit every expectation and then some, I think, for me. A lot of heart, a lot of emotion, and I think the thing that, really tied it all together, the thing that took it home for me is it's just a fucking hilarious film.
Yeah.
It's just very,
didn't even talk
funny.
about the humor. It was hilarious.
It's just so funny, and maybe it's because of the characters that you appreciate and come to enjoy and come to love, but almost like every little line of dialogue was just funny, and the sequences that they built up were very funny. Everything was just funny about the film, and I think that's a rarity these days. I think comedy a lot of times is a joke a minute kind of thing. You throw everything at the audience and some of it lands, and hopefully enough of it lands that they're, okay with it by the end of the day. I can't think of a joke in this that didn't land. I really can't. And I'm not saying that like every joke is like the funniest thing ever, but like it rarely missed, and there was a lot of jokes in it. It wasn't just an occasional punch of humor in it. It was constant throughout, but it was constantly funny throughout. It was, I had a grand time. I feel like
it was made by people that are our age that identified with the things that we identified. Like, it was a perfect balance of like creative it's like just creative humor and nostalgic humor. Like, it was a perfect balance of like, I mean, it almost seems like tailor fit to the people that grew up in the age where the internet was developing. And just not to say that your kids won't identify with it, or your parents won't identify with it, but I think that there's something there for every single age group in the spectrum. But it felt particularly intimate for people that grew up at the time that we grew up in.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Like, I got everything, every single thing I got. And that's what I think that balance of nostalgic humor and everything else was a super good balance for us, because I laughed at everything. I would have tears in my eyes because I identified with the parent, but at the same time I'd be laughing because I identified with everything else that was going on. Like, I was just a fucking sloppy mess the entire movie. Like, it was just it's just so good.
Yeah, I guess I probably didn't devolve into a sloppy mess or anything, but I also watched it on a mostly inferior kind of audio-visual perspective. We actually watched it when we got up to here in Vermont. And, Vermont's not about having a big TV and a big booming sound system. It's about enjoying nature and getting out and enjoying some sun and stuff like that. So it's not the focus. But, it was still really enjoyable even without that. And then the things that stood out to me, even like maybe on that front, the score was very cool, very fun. I enjoyed that. It's Mark Mothersbaugh who did the score, who's worked on, I think he worked on the Lego movies. He worked on Thor Ragnarok. I think he's a founding member of Devo.
What?
So, quite the career he's built for himself. And then the animation. I cannot say enough nice things about how fucking ridiculous the animation is. I guess I started a little bit on it earlier. Talking about Luca, but God, the techniques in this are just awesome. I loved the character designs, particularly in this one. I thought they were so expressive and just really, really well animated. And of course, Manchi, the pug. For those who don't know, I used to have a pug in my life named Mikey, and he brought a lot of joy to me for many, many years. He was an awesome dog to have. He unfortunately passed away, I guess now quite a few years back, but I look back fondly on my times with Michelangelo, and so anytime I see pugs in anything, I think of Mikey, and so seeing little Manchi just not even being able to look straight just made me think of Mikey and his eyes, his brown eyes, and
his fucking breath.
His horrible breath, and there's a running joke, not a spoiler, running joke of Munchie licking the dad's face, and I'm just like, he's like, oh, no, not again, and I've just been like, yeah, Yeah, just some of that kind of landed, I think, even harder for me. But
dog, pig.
Loaf of bread. Best joke in the film, bar none, was dog, pig, dog, pig. Again, that's like a somewhat spoiler, but like completely out of context. Doesn't make a difference. So when you see it in the film, you'll appreciate it, regardless of whether you've listened to us just before watching it or anything. But oh my God, that's prime example of the humor just being complete aces. Just, oh my God, that had me dying. But yeah, the animation was just top notch. Yes, definitely see the Spider-Verse kind of technology in it. But the way that they, I don't know, the way they animated everything from kind of the robots to the more kind of like artistic touches of like, drawing out like plans before like they put plans into place and stuff like that. And there's one thing where the dad does when he's driving, and then it does like a little transition as it's happening. It's just very funny and very artistic, and I don't know.
And the whole like premise
so
of the technology companies, because like
it's true, it's a little topical in a few different ways,
right? And it stays topical, it stays humorous, but at the same time, it's just like a tinge of darkness in there. And it's
we'll just point out there's a tech guy who's like the tech guy that creates the robot apocalypse by accident, and his first name is Mark. So make of that what you will,
And everybody loves his company. Imagine that.
Well, yeah.
It's
imagine that.
Yeah, it's fucking great. It was a
spectacular film. Spectacular film. Beautifully animated, beautifully acted. Voice cast is just awesome throughout. Top to bottom, you had a ridiculously talented voice cast. I could shout each of them out individually, to be honest. I think they were all really, really great, playing very different roles, each of them, but crushing it. Nonetheless. I don't think I have anything mean to say about this movie. I really don't. I got all my meanness out when I talked about the Venom trailer, so I'm just feeling good now. Nothing but positivity radiating from this microphone, but nothing but positivity deserved for this film. This really, really awesome film. I just had a great time with it. It is kind of crazy that this is on Netflix. Like, why would Sony sell this thing? Is kind of like, I mean, great. You made $100 million from it. And hey, look, if I had $100 million, I'd be set for life. So I'm not going to say that that's an insignificant amount of cash, but I think Sony kind of let a good one go. Maybe they just didn't know what they had on their hands or something. But Netflix definitely comes out ahead, even with spending $100 million on this thing. No doubt in my mind. This is a huge coup, huge success for Netflix overall. So. Hey, good for them. If they're willing to shell out for it and they're willing to take the chance on it, I assume they at least had a chance to screen it before they're like, wow, this is really fucking good. We should snap this up as soon as possible. Yeah, just Mitchell's versus the Machines. I think it's great. So I'm trying to think. I think that might. This probably covers it for non-spoilers. I think people have heard our effusive praise enough to understand where we're coming from. What say you? You want to hop into some recommendation now?
Yeah, we can dive into fucking recommendations. Yes.
This will be an easy one. We don't spend a lot of time here.
This is a very yes movie for me. No doubt.
For me as well. Yeah. Like I said, we don't need to spend a lot of time here. It's fucking awesome, and I think you made a great point. Maybe we were the perfect age for this, but I do think that this is appealing for many ages. I think that there's enough humor that spans the generations that everyone's going to kind of appreciate something from it, and so I highly recommend it. Did Sarah end up watching any of it? I didn't know if this.
No, Sarah didn't watch any of it.
She's missing out. I think Sarah would have really enjoyed this. I think so. If you happen to queue it up for a second time at any point in the near future, I think, she might be convinced. She might need to stick around for 10, 20 minutes. It might be the Hamilton thing where you just be like, just watch it. This is great. This is great. Just wait for it. But I do think that this is something that's going to appeal to kids and adults alike, and not to the exclusion of the other. So yeah, it's a very yes film for me, top to bottom. Animation style, acting, music, story just hits you, man. I don't know if I said that in non-spoilers. The story it's good. It's about a family bonding. It's a very, very relatable film. For any member of the family that you sympathize with, they're all sympathetic to a certain extent. But I think that whether you relate to one character more than the other, the movie is really about togetherness and coming together as a family and understanding each other and giving people a chance and giving your family members a chance. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. And I think that on the other side of seeing the film, I think you appreciate really what it was trying to do. So yeah, it's an obvious very yes for me, and top tier animated film. We've been spoiled of late. Had a few great ones with Raya before this, with Soul before that, but fucking hell, this was good. So very yes for me. Any other thoughts you want to add on for
we can dive into the old spoiler section.
We'll dive in, we shall. Full spoilers for The Mitchells versus The Machines. Well, where do you want to start here? I think we really haven't tackled any of the plot specifics other than robot apocalypse and bad things happening from there. But
so we got a tech company that's similar to Facebook that deploys robots that can do everything, and then
Siri says, "Fuck you."
Yeah, pretty much, and they you get the robot apocalypse, and then you have a teenager that's struggling to do their own thing, and that isn't immediately that she's almost at the precipice of doing her own thing and getting recognized for her greatness, and her dad, who was concerned about failing and just concerned about his daughter and the things that she's going to have to go through if she fails. But at the same time, she's like, back off, let me do my own thing, just let me do it. And and it's like, oh man, it's just super fucking touching. It's so good. You got somebody that wants to do their own thing, and then their dad or their parents they struggle to identify with that, and they don't realize the wedge that they're putting between their relationship, and it was just super fucking touching. It was very nice.
It was, it's relatable, and this is the one I think that we come from the perspective, not being parents ourselves, at least as of yet. We come from the perspective of being the kid, and the relationship, and maybe not to the extent, at least personally speaking, that Katie had with her dad, where they are in polar opposite, sides of the spectrum in terms of kind of where they are. She's a filmmaker and kind of has this kind of quirky sense of humor, and her dad is like nature man. You know what I mean? They're just totally kind of different people, fundamentally different people, but still father-daughter. But you kind of relate. I mean, I definitely related to Katie of just being like, you just don't get it, Dad. I thought that, I appreciated what she was doing, and the dog cop stuff was very funny. As a side note, I really enjoyed that.
The episode where you find out what the cop is like,
Sarge,
the
dad. Sarge is like, yeah.
Dad. God damn it, I was sloppy crying. Oh God.
yeah, that was good. On the nose, of course, but very good. And that's what it was trying to be. Was just let me hammer this point home with making this, character insert that's obviously my dad who just doesn't get it. Yeah, I thought that was just really, really well done, and again relatable. Not necessarily to the extent that I have a good relationship with my parents, and I'm sure we butted heads here and there, when I was a teenager, because what teenager doesn't butt head with their parents once or twice, or a few times potentially. But you do understand kind of that thing of, everyone has different interests and everyone kind of has different things. And you want, I think from a parent perspective, from the dad's perspective, is like you want a little mini me. You want a little, someone who's just gonna follow you around, and they kind of had that
and
relationship when they were a kid, when she was a kid.
The biggest thing was not to cut you off.
No, go for it. Go for it.
The dad had his hobbies. He had his interests, and because of the kids, he had to pull back from those.
Right. Yeah. He had that cabin that he built, by hand himself, and it was just like,
and that was his pride and joy. But because of the kids, and not to the detriment, he did it because he loved his kids,
right?
But at the same time, he didn't want to have that feeling of failure for his kids. I don't want you to be so interested in something and try to pursue it, and then not have to feel that feeling that I felt, And it was super heartwarming there at the end because the entire movie they've been struggling to identify with each other. It was just so well done.
Yeah,
so
it was
fucking good.
It was. I mean, the story was just really touching because it felt real. The dynamics between the family, felt real, and and it's so interesting because it's juxtaposed against this ridiculous fucking storyline. The robot apocalypse and just
fucking Furbies.
The sequences. Yes, the Furbies. We can talk about that. The sequences in general are just so over the top and so ridiculous, but they are the kind of the things that punctuate the realness of this film. Like, you enjoy the spectacle of things just being absolutely insane and over the top in terms of like the set pieces, but ultimately when it comes down to it, those real moments of emotion between the family, they work because they feel authentic, they feel genuine. But ultimately, you throw all those things in a blender and you get a really, really fucking entertaining package overall. So anyway, yeah, Furbies. Giant Furby gets summoned and they're talking in their own language to each other. Just ridiculous. That kind of reminded me. I got a lot of Lego Movie sensibilities from this film, and I I have to imagine there's some crossover even beyond the score in terms of the Lego Movie, because it really just felt like the same type of humor, storytelling, etc. Maybe even done better, I don't know. But yeah, I just the Furby thing particularly just felt like let's bring this random IP back that people haven't thought about probably in a couple I guess a couple decades. And just use it for maximum effect. It was awesome.
Giant Furby shooting energy beams.
It was basically Godzilla, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It was great. It was so good. And then Mom being a complete badass at the end of it.
That's that, yeah. The Kill Bill stuff at the end was just fucking incredible.
The fucking Kill Bill. The score, everything was straight out of Kill Bill. Oh man,
just going to town.
Spectacular.
That was hilarious. That was awesome. I think, initially I thought, okay, the daughter, she's this quirky filmmaker. She seems cool. She seems like someone, she seems relatable. She seems like someone I would hang out with. And then she has this great relationship with her brother, who's like, I love dinosaurs, and he's voiced by a 40-year-old man. He's voiced by the co-director of the film, which is very funny. He's playing like a little kid, but he's a 40-year-old man. It's just another like little touch that's funny for some reason. I found those two fun and relatable, and I kind of felt like the dad, like I don't know where he's a little annoying, he's a little overbearing, and the mom's just like, well, you got to listen to your father. I'm like, okay, okay, but they both really came into their own. I think by the end for me, again, coming from that perspective, like, like mom and dad, which again, I love my parents, and they're probably listening to this. I love you guys, I do, but that's how kids always kind of perceive their parents, and a general sense is just like. At a certain point, those little bastards just start to think for themselves. I'm the little bastard in this scenario. They start to think for themselves. They think they know everything. They think they're hot shit, and so they kind of discard like what their parents like kind of throw at them. And I think what this film did a good job of was making you appreciate that like the parents have their own perspective, and like they are trying legitimately, genuinely their best to raise these kids. And so, mom turns into a fucking badass, and I'm like, okay, this is sick. This is cool. I can be down with this. I think I liked like Well, yes, tying back into the dog pig loaf of bread joke, which again is absolutely the best joke in the film. You know, that fries the circuits of all the regular robots. And then there's like these crazy robots that they get built at one point that look like Transformers or something. I don't even know. And they're like, we can identify this dog as not a loaf of bread. But then they see the mom going to town like, oh God, the lavender one or whatever they say. And they just lose their shit too, which is, oh man, let's just say that me recounting the things that made me laugh and then being like, oh man, that was so funny, doesn't capture what it does to watch this movie. So if you're listening to spoilers like a nincompoop or whatever, like go watch this film because it's well worth your time.
And you got the Instagram family.
Yeah. John Legend and Chrissy Teigen, which is funny. Anna's a big fan of both of them, and so that was an extra layer of fun with that. So. the coordinated effort, and I liked the brothers. Anytime he started talking to the girl, he's just like, "Okay, goodbye forever," you know, just runs out and just breaks a window or something. Just
it's great. It's so good.
Good.
And then the fucking dinosaurs. He's got his dinosaurs, and he goes dinosaur land, and the dinosaurs are all fucked up looking.
Oh God, they really were fucked up looking, to be fair. It was great.
They got the fucking googly eyes on the dinosaurs. It's good.
Oh man.
It's good.
Oh man, it was good.
I laughed a lot. This movie was great. Man, Netflix really nailed it on this.
They did. They took their $110 million and said, okay, we'll take this. No problem. We'll take it off your hands. Yeah, I mean, oh man, yeah, they did well for themselves, definitely.
I just hope that this movie gets the recognition it deserves, and that's the big thing.
I hope so, and I hope that the fact that it's reviewing so well almost feels like it's going to have to propel it into that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like
it when deserves a movie theatrical release, I feel.
I agree with that. Yeah, and it is a shame that even though Netflix does kind of their limited theatrical releases, I don't think this got one, you know, and it sucks because I think this is a movie that would have played exceptional well in theaters, and you know, that goes back to the point of like Sony, what you doing? You know, like, I don't know if they just didn't think like theaters were going to be viable for a long enough time to make it worth their while or what, but and maybe that's true, you know, to a certain extent. Obviously, you know, everyone's plenty comfortable to watch this at home on Netflix. Maybe this comes out in theaters and you wouldn't have bothered because it wasn't on Netflix. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so
yeah, it's like a non-title kind of like I mean, the thing that had Spider-Man with Into the Spider-Verse and stuff was Spider-Man. The thing is, Lego movies have is they're Lego movies,
right?
It's just like a one-off animated film with a star-studded cast.
Yeah,
that turned out to be absolutely fucking incredible. Like, you know, I don't know if I would have gravitated this movie if it wasn't on Netflix. You know what I mean? And it's just, man, what a spectacular fucking film this was.
It really was.
So, and we can talk about I think I know I talked about it in the non-spoiler section, but the credits. Oh my God, the credits were the most touching thing that I had ever seen in my life. They kind of the best credits.
They went in a different direction than I expected. I thought it would be like Katie's like drawings and stuff like that, but you know, they just brought in, you know, some family photos.
People that went through, I mean, not necessarily hell and back, but they might have had to combat their family to do what they wanted to do and what they were passionate about, you know what I mean? And and they're coming through to the other side. Now they're in a credit sequence, which is just, man, it was just so incredibly awesome. You get the little snippets of them as little kids and shit, and now they're in the credits of a big movie. They're just like, man, the duplicity of that credit sequence was so incredibly touching. I loved it. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that was really, really nice, really touching, you know, and God, you know, these animated films have like a fucking million people working on them, and you know, that's probably the type of thing that you don't really get appreciated for, and And obviously the voice cast, the voice cast in here is plenty talented, have had plenty of success elsewhere, but to have those credits just given a little bit of a moment of recognition for most of the people that worked on it. Not all of them, obviously. You still have a giant credit scroll after kind of the main credits portion, but for the major players, I guess, if nothing else, to kind of have that sort of thing. It's really sweet, really touching. And
it was based off. It was quote unquote based off of real family. You know what I mean? And then you get like this is me. Boom. Circled and highlighted in a family photo. Oh man, so good, so well done. And like I said, when that credit roll sequence when it dropped, I was smiling because the movie was over. I was happy, and then it said, "Oh, it was based off a real family." I'm like, "Oh, what's that?" And then they dropped the family photo. I'm like, so good. God damn, it was so good.
The lump was developing, and then you just couldn't hold it any longer.
I couldn't hold it anymore. It was so touching. It was so good.
Yeah.
Oh, man, what a movie. I was so happy I watched this movie.
Yeah.
This incredibly happy.
Like I said,
it's film, like soul level happiness watching this movie.
No, I would agree with you there. It's a film that kind of came out of nowhere in a way, and that almost punctuates like how effective it was. Is like, this is not a Green Knight situation of looking forward to this for forever. This is something that kind of just came out of nowhere. Expectations maybe weren't really there for it. The trailer looked good. Hey, great, but this I don't think we could have predicted. So it almost made it. I don't know. It almost makes it feel a little bit more special. It's just like, oh
hits you
shit,
like a fucking train, dude.
You want something like that every now and then to just wallop you. Yeah, So, yeah, this was good. This was just really fucking good. I'm trying to think of just any little moments in this, just to kind of shout them out in spoilers, because it's the kind of film for me that I can think about. Like, again, I said it's kind of perpetually funny throughout. Think about any little sequence in it, and I'm like, yeah, that was pretty good, wasn't it? And it really is that kind of film for myself. The first thing that's jumping out to me is, like I said, Siri going evil is kind of like the bad guy. It's Pal, I think is her name. Olivia Colman, she's great. But there's the one scene where she's just like, I want to throw a fit, and so it's just the phone bouncing around on the table for like a minute straight. And the two robots.
Put me down on the table.
The two robots as well. The way they draw the faces on their fucking visors was just, I'm a human. Those two were very fun, very good together with the family.
You got
too,
you got the Furby, you got the family, you got the Instagram family.
Yeah,
that was good. I enjoyed the what did I enjoy? I enjoyed a lot of the shit.
All of it.
I enjoyed the little tidbit there with the moose when you find out the moose that came out.
Oh yeah, the reveal of that was very well done. Yeah.
I enjoyed the dad. I never thought the dad was particularly overwhelming. He was just a character that couldn't like get through to his daughter. Tried so hard, and then he sat out there and cried in the hallway watching the family photos and stuff, and like, how do we get to this point? I'm going to try to make it better. I'm going to make a fucking family road trip. We're going to cancel the flight. We're going to ride all the way there together. It's
a little much, I think, overall. It's probably, I mean, look, if I was in that situation and the daughter was fucking mortified, and I think that's probably the appropriate response is like, I'm a whole ass adult dad. Like, I don't like, it's like, I appreciate it, but like, no, I don't want this. So, it's a sentimental gesture, but it's like, yeah, I don't know if that's going to work, but hey, I guess it did work in the end when they kind of had to, figure each other out. So I don't know.
Oh, driving stick shift.
Yeah, I think I alluded to it. I was trying to remember what the actual thing they call it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like, when he does that, like, do you know what they actually call it on screen though? It's
Family
like
Mitchell special or something. Like
yeah,
that?
Yeah, the Rick Mitchell special or something. Yeah, yeah. That was funny. And that got a good callback, I think, towards the end as well. It's a film that's good about callbacks. I mean, the dog pig thing was the one thing. Anna and I were just losing it the first time that happened. And then when they called back to it and made it a huge pivotal point in the third act, we're like, they're strapping the oh god. Machi was so my favorite because of course Machi was my favorite. How could he not be? Because he was the most beautiful angel in the world. But
couldn't catch anything with his mouth.
Just couldn't catch. God, just the perfect dog. You can't ask for a better dog than a little pug. Let me tell you.
The fact that they nailed the stinky breath with the dad was just, I fucking cried because Michael had the worst breath.
It was just the worst. What did he put in there? And this is my favorite thing. One of many favorite things about Mikey is, the bad breath was a known issue. It wasn't a surprise to any of us. And so anytime he'd feed him breath mints, he'd just spit them right back out. Because I think he knew too. I think he reveled in it, to be honest. I think he's just like,
give me that for?
He's like, what's this shit? I don't want that.
Dad constantly getting licked by the dog.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so great. It's so good. Oh, man. It was a tour de force movie.
Tour de force.
My coined quote.
Yeah. Yeah, put that in the pull quotes on the Blu-ray box, you bitches. Quote unquote, a tour de force movie. - Andrew Meadows, watch if you repeat podcasts. You heard it here first.
Shit. Yeah, that's all I got on this movie. Watch this shit. It's real good.
Yeah, I think that might be all I have. I have inevitably not, remembered to talk about things that I wanted to talk about. But one thing I appreciated the very, I don't want to say very slight, but just a little bit of representation that they brought with Katie's character, confirming her as an LGBTQ plus character at the kind of the tail end of the movie. Like the movie wasn't about that. There was definitely vibes throughout, and then it was just kind of like a nice little subtle bit of representation. The whole movie didn't have to be about that, but it was just nice to kind of see that. And that wasn't even like a point of conflict between her and her dad. It was just like, she's fucking weird and I don't get her, and so I thought that was subtle and well done, I think, overall. So that's one little thing that I will shout out. But other than that, I'll forget many other things. But hey, the real solution is to just go out. Well, don't go out anywhere. Stay at home. Stay at home, folks. Stay at home. Boot up your TV. Boot up your Netflix app, and put on the Mitchells versus the Machines. You'll have a grand old time. And I think anyone that's going to watch this is going to find something in it that's going to be really enjoyable. Now, 3% of people that submitted their critic reviews to Rotten Tomatoes apparently didn't care for it. But you may find yourself part of those 3%, but 97% is a pretty overwhelming majority, and so I think that most people are really gonna just really find something to love about this film. And Andrew and myself, I think it's safe to say we found plenty of things to love about it. So once again, highly recommend The Mitchells versus the Machines. Hats off to Sony Animation, even though they sold this shit, and I guess hats off to Netflix for giving us a way to watch this very easily and accessibly. So yeah, I think that's what I got. Other last minute thoughts? You good for Mitchells versus
I'm good.
Machines?
That's it.
All right.
That's all I got.
Well,
no way.
I don't.
I'm just looking at the catching up section. I can't believe it.
Well, what
have you been up to? I want to hear about it.
Well, do you want to hear what I've been up to, or do you want to hear what Bruce Brown has been up to? We can do it in either order if you want.
Oh, we can. We'll get to the listener's corner first, I guess.
All right. So it's a little. That's a sizzle. That's a sizzle right there, my dude. You just sizzled the catching up section for the listeners. A few things from Bruce Brown. He writes in on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Quite a few things. This is kind of in regards to the episodes, I guess I should say. We recorded the Falcon and the Winter Soldier in one big block, and we're just like, ooh, we can't put our listeners through almost 4 hours of this.
Thick.
So he said the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was a good episode. He appreciated Anna's cameo as well. He enjoyed the show and thought it had a good balance of action and storyline. enjoyed the backstory into the personal lives. I said he had the same thought on, WTF, the Avengers don't get paid and have no money, that we expressed as well. But he thought the character development was good. Thought the John Walker character would get killed some brutal way, and that would kind of be the shock that woke America up and was what would have convinced the Falcon to take the shield back as Cap. But it's not how it went, obviously. He says he doesn't really see how a non-powered guy who is, fit and can toss a shield can really be Captain America and survive. Given, you look at in the Cap movie, is there any fight scene where a regular dude in a shield would survive? And he says he doubts it. Maybe it's a little unrealistic, but hey, it's Marvel, and Sam Wilson is just he's fit to be Captain America. We talked about it, especially in the spoiler segment of that. So. He deserves it, is what I would say in response to that.
Peak normal physical condition.
Yeah. He's working out, man. He's working out.
Gains. Hashtag gains.
Hashtag gains. But beyond that, he said, "Congrats to Enrique, who joined us for the Falcon and Winter Soldier coverage, and talked about Hawaii, saying it's pretty awesome. The Makapu'u lighthouse that Enrique talks about is the one that my parents got the keys to, and said that they were able to climb to the top of the light. They were able to sit out there overlooking the Pacific, a nice little lighthouse for two. So he says they chose wisely. It's a beautiful spot with amazing views. And then he also said that Hanauma Bay is an awesome snorkeling place. And so hopefully he found that. And if not, anyone that happens to take a Hawaii adventure in the near future or whenever, maybe that's a good spot for you as well. So beyond that, he's been watching a little HBO television show starring Kate Winslet called Mare of Easttown. And he's also been watching Veep on HBO, which he calls really good. He's on season 3 now. But in regard to Mare of Easttown, succinctly says that it's a really good crime drama, highly recommended. I think it's like halfway-ish through the season, maybe 2/3-ish, somewhere around there. And it's one I'm curious to check out because it takes place in Pennsylvania, so it's close to home for me. There was an article that came out recently about Kate Winslet going into a Wawa and describing it as like a mythical place. And there are Wawas down in Florida, so Andrew knows about the Wawas. But
I know about the
Wawas. They're a Philly staple. So
sell ethanol for fuel. Yeah. If anybody's curious about that.
Well, there you go. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's 4 out, and it seems like 3 or more coming. So yeah, check out Mare of Easttown. I'm curious to check it out myself. Although I heard it's going to be a very bingeable experience. So Anna and I have been waiting to closer to the end before we hop in. And then another entry to the listeners' corner, which we get some other contenders down on the listeners' corner every now and then, is Dalton Brown, who says, in case you needed another recommendation besides Andrew and myself, he talks about Mitchell's versus the Machines and says it's definitely a fun watch. So a fun watch and a damn good film is what I would say about it. So that's a little segment of the listeners' corner for you guys, catching up on what's going on. If you want to be part of the future editions of the listeners' corner, just send an email about what you've been up to, what you've been watching. You want us to shout you out, watchreviewrepeat@gmail.com. We'd be happy to talk about it. Do you want to hear what I've been up to? Is that what you want to do? Okay.
Yes, I want to hear it.
All right. So I hit on law school. Law school is done. I hit on Vermont. I'm in Vermont. I'm having a great time. I've watched 3 films I want to talk about. I think the last one is the one that probably caught your eye earlier, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
for
sure.
So I watched The Mighty Ducks, first of all. The
old
classic,
school one?
The classic old school The Mighty Ducks. That's the one with Emilio Estevez. I don't think I'd ever seen it. Certainly not in its entirety. I didn't remember any of it. Very nice. I'm seeing a little Green Knight is popping up on the on the screen from Andrew.
But I got it.
The Mighty Ducks is good fun. Anna has turned me into a hockey fan. I'm a Flyers fan. Flyers did not make the postseason this year. It was a disappointing season overall, but they finished their season with a win over the Devils, and good for them. The Lightning, meanwhile, will venture into some postseason play, so we'll see what they can do in that all-Florida playoff against the Panthers. That'll be exciting. But we turned to the Mighty Ducks for some hockey entertainment because the Flyers hadn't been providing much as of late. It was good. It was fun. In that first movie, they have some god-awful uniforms, I enjoyed it. It was just kind of like
like green and white or something like that?
Yeah, they were
right?
green and white in the first one. I think they went to purple in the later movies. We haven't gotten to the sequels yet. And they did a revival show on Disney Plus. I don't know if you've seen anything. I don't think we really talked about it on the show, but
I saw that they had done it, but I figured that's why you'd watched it in preparation to tackle the show.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't specifically related to that. It was probably me inspired by the fact that, there's a new thing out, and, maybe that'll be fun to, watch if we watch through the trilogy, and then we can just hop right into the show, because it's still airing, the Disney Plus show. I think it'll be done in a month or so, but, yeah, I enjoyed The Mighty Ducks. It's good fun. Not like an amazing film, but Amelia was entertaining in it. And, the kids were fun, pretty bog standard kind of sports kids movie, but good. I recommend it. Mighty Ducks, and it's on Disney Plus, so it's very easy to watch for those that have Disney Plus, which if you don't, what are you doing? What are you doing, really? So beyond that, we watched a little film called Star Wars. You may have heard of it. You may know it as a film called A New Hope.
Very nice.
And I think we talked about it probably. I probably talked about it around this time last year. We watched Anna has the DVD copies of the original trilogy, which I know was just really awful to think about, but they include the proper theatrical versions without George fucking with every little thing that happened in them, and so that's how we enjoyed it. And so we watched
yearly Star Wars watch.
Yes. We actually watched that on May 4th this year. On May the 4th be with you. So that was fun. I think we were in the middle of exams at the point, so it just kind of felt like a nice respite from all that chaos and stress. But Star Wars is comfort food, and Star Wars is great. And watching it and kind of the fucked with version is appreciated. The quality isn't great. I hope that Disney at some point gives us, kind of the unvarnished 4K versions of these things. Instead, we're stuck with McClunky and all that good stuff. But it is what it is. And so, Star Wars is great. We talked about Star Wars. We, once upon a time did bonus episodes on the original trilogy, and I think the prequel trilogy, and then sequel trilogy maybe we just rolled right into the Rise of Skywalker. We did very extensive Star Wars coverage, I'll have you know. And so if anyone wants to actually hear fuller thoughts about the film, that's the place to do it. But it's fun. It's always fun watching Star Wars. We really appreciate Star Wars on this podcast, and Anna and myself are very big fans. And so it's a nice kind of yearly pastime to watch some Star Wars. But the last thing that I got up to is the thing that Andrew is very excited to hear about. I saw the film that I guess for probably 2 to 3 years eluded cinemas. And then they finally dumped it into cinemas, I think last August, if I'm not mistaken. But it's now on HBO to stream, which is how I watched it. I didn't pay a single dime for it beyond what I already paid for my HBO Max. I watched The New Mutants.
Oh, man. How was it?
I watched it. Well, I'd be lying if I said it was good. It's pretty bad. I'm going to say something bold and say that I think it's probably more enjoyable than X-Men Apocalypse and X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Okay.
More enjoyable because it feels fresher. It doesn't feel like just the same hackneyed shit that they've been churning out. It's different, it's a horror tinged take on the X-Men, etc. But it's still fucking bad, At the end of the day, it's still pretty bad. The cast is good, but bad at the same time. everyone has weird, bad accents. Like Anya Taylor-Joy, who's great. You know, we saw her in The Queen's Gambit. She's great in that. She's got this wonky-ass Russian accent in this, and she's bad. It's got Jonathan from Stranger Things, and he's got this like Southern accent that's real fucking bad and super inconsistent throughout. Arya Stark's a werewolf, and she's a Scottish werewolf, but like sometimes she's not Scottish as well. So, you know, what are you gonna do? That dad, do you remember we watched that opening scene from the movie a while back, and the dad was the worst. That whole scene is exactly as it was presented in the film, just horrendous. The dad was so awful, and gets killed like 2 minutes into the movie. So it's good that we didn't have a lot of them, but it just feels it's weirdly low budget and like weirdly not at times, because like there's only like 5 people in the whole movie, and they're like, yeah, we promised there are other people in this world, but like we couldn't afford to like film them or anything like that, so you just have to take our word for it. But then the whole third act is like this big CG thing, you know, like there's a big CG villain that they fight, and it is kind of crazy, like, you know, with the scale of it, like not like insane. It's not Avengers level or anything like that, but it's like, you know, they spent some money on this. Like, it doesn't look great, don't get me wrong, but like they clearly put some money into this thing. So I don't know. It was a weird experience. It didn't hate it, I guess, as you know, as the bottom line. It's not good.
Well, it's better than expected.
No, it's not. I mean, it's really not. It's probably exactly what I expected, but like I expected, like, you know, I don't know. I don't know what I expected, I guess. I just, after having had it delayed for like 3 years, like my expectations were just like, I just want to see what the thing is. Like, you know, if it's like anything better than like, you know, like dog shit, then like fine, like whatever. And it's very short. It's 90 minutes long. It's just it's a breeze. I watched it in 2 segments, to be fair, but you know, it's a breeze. You know, it just kind of flies through it. It feels like they could have expanded on it a little bit more, and I'm glad that they didn't, because it wouldn't have made the film any better for it. But it just kind of felt like, you know, it felt exactly like what it was, which was they did an initial principal photography for it. They planned to do reshoots and pickups, and they wanted to like add things here and characters or whatever, and they just never did those reshoots. They just never did them, and so they just like, we'll just put together what we have and see what we got. And what they had was a 90-minute thing that was just not very good, but like, hey, I guess it could have been worse. So it is what it is, you know? So I don't know. I did it to sate my curiosity. I wanted to know if it was like, you know, worthwhile or whatever. Exactly, but like, I just wanted to see like, how bad is this thing? And it was like, it's bad, but I've seen worse. I've seen worse literally in this franchise, is kind of how I ended up with it. So, am I going to recommend it to anyone? Fucking hell no. You know what I mean? Like, don't waste your time with it, of course. Had we seen it, had we risked our goddamn lives to see this in theaters in August, because I'm like, we got to do it for the podcast, you would have had every right to unfriend me and be like, we're ending the podcast over this because fuck you, my dude. But we didn't do that because we realized who really gives a shit about this thing. And that's kind of the appropriate attitude, is like, who really gives a shit about the New Mutants? And the correct answer is no one. Not even the people involved gave a shit about, gave a shit about the New Mutants. It's the New Mutants, I just had to know, I had to know, and maybe I wasted 90 minutes of my life, but hey, whatever, man. I guess, I don't know. At least I said I did. At least I can say I did the thing. So I don't know if that's a good, a good reasoning for doing something, but yeah.
Well, I spent 90 minutes doing something.
Was it better than the New Mutants?
Probably.
What was it?
I spent 90 minutes watching the Bad Batch first episode.
Okay. Well, I hope it was better than New Mutants. I've heard good things.
And then I spent a little bit longer watching the second episode, because I think I caught it a little bit late. I didn't watch it on May 4th, but yeah. I'm all in on New Mutant, or not New Mutants, Jesus Christ. I'm all in on Bad Batch.
Listeners almost just got a full spit take live on air. Would have been messy, to be fair. But
yeah, so
the Bad
Batch is...
You're giving it a thumbs up.
I'm giving it a thumbs up. I was a little bit... I enjoyed the little bit that they got in the last season of...
Clone Wars, yeah.
Clone Wars.
Yeah, sure.
But I was left a little bit like, what kind of direction are they going to take this in? And I think they're taking it in a pretty cool direction. I'm enjoying it a lot.
Okay.
I think it's pretty cool. What else have I done? I watched that. I watched shit. I always come to blanks when I. Oh, I had a spectacular month last month at work.
At work. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I had a spectacular month. Best month, record cars sold, record profit made.
Wow.
And
of all
cool.
time.
Yeah, of all time.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, that feels pretty cool. It also feels like I had a record month. Like I feel like I'm worn down to my nubs, like just fucking down to nothing. Feel quite dead. Looking forward to the next vacation. I got a fence coming in, which will be pretty cool. A PVC privacy fence is getting installed. Hopefully starting tomorrow, but we'll see. And watched a movie called Stepmothers. Have I talked to you about that?
Yeah, you talked about it on the catching up section of the Falcon Winter Soldier episode.
All right. And all right, I think that might do it.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Hasn't been too long since we recorded last. To be
I really
fair.
want to play the new Resident Evil game.
Yeah, that looks fucking cool. Village, yeah.
I don't have a PS5, so I'll be playing it on the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
But I might get a PS5. But at the same time, I don't know if I can justify spending the money to buy a PS5 because I don't know if I'll actually like play and complete the game. But I am intrigued. It looks less scary than the last game, which I played the demo of the last game and like I couldn't walk out of the bedroom in the last game because I was just fucking petrified. So it's not really catching up, but I am intrigued by Resident Evil. Resident Evil 8, I guess, Villages.
Yeah. Yep.
That looks like a fun game to play. I think I might be into it. Looks like a little bit like RE4. Yeah,
it almost seems like 4 and 7 kind of merged,
little combo wombo.
Yeah, 7's style of gameplay with kind of 4's direction, story direction maybe. So I've heard good things. It's one that's on my radar for sure. They're dropping that Mass Effect fucking collection in a few days' time from the recording, and I'm like, oh cool. Man, I want to go back in. They're gonna do like 4K 60 frames for the PS5. So
that sounds cool.
Yeah, I got plenty of things to play as it is, obviously, but Mass Effect. Mass Effect, despite its fucking shit show of an ending, still holds a very, very soft spot in my heart. So, yeah.
I would also very much like to watch the A24 that horror movie. I've been really gunning for
Saint Maud. You talked about the potential of you watching it, so it hasn't happened yet.
I haven't watched it yet. I really want to watch it. I think I might watch it sometime soon.
Yeah, good. Yeah. If you find some space to watch it, I'd be curious to hear what you think.
It was like the same, like last week I had some people over. I was like, you guys want to watch a scary movie? And then like I was like, oh, let's just watch the trailer to see if it's something that you'd be into. And it's like, it's super art housey. Like nobody's gonna fucking enjoy this movie. It's almost like watching Hamilton. And then we ended up watching 10 minutes of Hamilton. And
oh, so that's when the 10 minutes happened. I see.
That was a true life thing.
So that happened. Did you end up watching anything after the 10 minutes of Hamilton?
Yeah, we watched Tropic Thunder. Did I talk about Tropic Thunder?
At some point you talked about that. Yeah, I don't remember when that was, but you talked about
Tropic
it at some
Thunder.
point.
Yeah, still a outrageously hilarious movie. Terribly out of place. Like it just feels. I felt. It's like this movie would not be made today. I don't think.
I don't think so. Probably not.
But does not take away from its excellence. I don't think. I still I'll stand behind Tropic Thunder. No, I don't think I've really been up to anything other than that. I mean, Mother's Day came around and we did that, and I will be asking Pops to adopt me next Sunday. Going to dinner next Sunday. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's intense.
That's a big deal.
I guess he doesn't listen, otherwise this would be a spoiler.
No, yeah, exactly. But that's going to be happening. I consulted a lawyer person that lives down the road from me. He's a lawyer.
Yes, I've heard of them. I've heard of this elusive lawyer person that you speak of.
Yeah, and then I talked to you, and I found the papers and stuff online to do it, and it's a fairly straightforward process. I don't think I have to pay, an exorbitant amount of money to have it done, so I don't think I'll be hiring a professional to do it. And I will be asking. I went. Oh, it's the coolest thing. They make this app that because I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find any pictures of me and pups. Like old school photos, like photos from where my mom took pictures of me and Pops. But I went up in the attic, and my mom left some boxes in the attic here, so I went in the attic, and I found some, along with a bunch of schoolwork, which I sent you pictures of one particular folder. My mom kept all my schoolwork. And
yes.
And anyways, I found some old negatives of some pictures.
Cool.
And I found this app on my phone. It lets you take pictures of negatives, but then it makes them not negatives, which I guess it makes them positives. I guess is the way that would be. I don't know the correct.
Seems right to me. I don't fucking know, but it seems right.
Anyways, yeah. So I took some pictures of some negatives and had them developed and printed out some pictures and stuff. And so what I'm going to do for Pops is I'm gonna make like a little scrapbook with some nice little words in them on each page, and then as he flips through the pages, boom, it's going to be like the adoption papers. So I think it's going to hit him hard at dinner. I'm hoping it hits him real hard. Want to see him tear up a little bit. I'll probably be crying when I give it to him. I'll probably be. I want to
get some emotion from the old man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you want to be connected. You want to get the same sort of emotions that the Mitchells versus the Machines brought out of you. I think that's certainly
bingo.
Certainly desirable. So, all right. Well, good luck with that. I hope everything goes to plan. And
hopefully
that'll be great.
Hopefully he says yes. That'd be nice. If he said yes, if he said no, I might have to question a couple things. But other than that, I think that does it for me. I haven't really been up to a whole lot besides work. It just seems like fucking work all the time.
It's relentless. Yeah. Well, good deal then. I guess we can go ahead and wrap it up there. What do you think?
Absolutely. That's it. That's the wrap.
Alrighty then. Thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, please spread the word. If you want to support us on Patreon, at patreon.com/watchreviewrepeat, you can get early access to all of our regular episodes, timed exclusive access to any bonus episodes that we might be working on in the future. Green Knight is another, Green Knight board game live on air could be fun. We talked about Fast and Furious recently. We talked about Studio Ghibli for 13 years at least. So all potentials to be on the Patreon at some point in the future. If you want to find any other information about our podcast, we have a website. It's watchreviewrepeat.com. That'll get you helpful links to any of the episodes that we've done, as well as to our social media accounts. We are on Twitter at WRRPod. You can like us on Facebook if you just search for Watch Review Repeat. But we don't spend too much time on Facebook. Otherwise, this little film here might turn into a reality. We don't want that, certainly. So, questions, comments, suggestions. Want to be on the listener's corner on a future episode? We would be happy to take a look at what you send over, what you've been up to, talk about that on air. Our email account is watchreviewrepeat@gmail.com, so please do not hesitate to send us something. Our intro and outro track is Mechanolith by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. So our next episode, Andrew and I have admittedly not discussed it, but what I was thinking is Those Who Wish Me Dead, with Angelina Jolie, directed by Taylor Sheridan, is coming out on HBO Max with within just a few days of when we're recording.
Oh, that's fantastic!
And so that seems like a good contender for what might be next up on the queue, and hopefully it's worth our time. So I think you can look forward to some coverage of that in just a little bit of time. So look forward to it. Andrew, why don't you go ahead and send the listeners out?
Take care now. Bye bye then.
Laters on the Minjay.